Welcome to the Creative Plan Podcast Network. Join us as we share our favorite RPGs, one-shot games, tabletop games, reviews of items, and convention panels, and other exciting things that we run into from time to time. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Kelly, aka Trixie from Ragnarok and Roll, a Sign to Ragnarok story, and Tilda Wimblewick from D&D Journey of the 5th Edition. First off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our varied adventures, as well as for rating us on iTunes and rpgpodcast.com. If you haven't rated us yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you could. And if you're looking for more ways to support our efforts, we are now on Patreon, a great site where you can help us continue making more podcasts, as well as some special surprises for our patrons. If you can, please look us up at www.patreon.com/cppn. Every little bit helps. And again, thank you for listening.
Alright, so we'll get started. You guys want to come in? We're gonna play with some toys.
I think they're doing calisthenics instead.
Yeah, right, I guess so. So my name is Max Ellentuck.
Louder.
Online, I'm the Mellentuck. So this is a very, very basic, I almost feel like you may think I am talking down to you at some point, because this is if you've never seen a camera before, it's almost at that level, but not quite. We're not going to talk about how to point and shoot and things. So I have been collecting action figures my entire life, and then in high school, I had a spare slot for a class, and the guidance counselor said, well, why don't you take photography? You're already taking art and ceramics. This is the third art class. Oh, okay, that sounds like fun. So I started, and you do the regular photography things you do in class, and I believe it was the subject, the teacher wanted us to take pictures of feet. And so after I got really grossed out taking some pictures of my dad's feet, I was like, well, now I should do some I got some really cool action figure feet, because it was the late 90s, and Todd McFarlane was doing these incredible sculptures that he called toys, and you could buy them at Toys R Us. So I was like, oh, this must be an action figure, I can buy this. And so I was taking pictures of that figure's toys, and it kind of evolved into the rest of the figure. And so I turned the feet in as the assignment. And then the next day I came back and was like, hey, I want to do this and take pictures of these things, these toys. And the art teacher was like, oh, you're interested in doing whatever it is? Here, please do whatever you want. So I got run of the photography lab and just took it over with lots and lots of toys. And so that's how I got into action figure photography. But then after high school, there wasn't really a medium to do anything with it until about 5 years ago. My friend said, hey, have you heard of this thing called Instagram? And I was like, I haven't, please tell me more. And she's like, oh, it's an app like Facebook, but you take pictures. It's like, I love taking pictures of toys. It's like, well, you should do it. So that's how I got started on Instagram, and it has taken off, and now that's my hobby and sort of my shtick, and that's what I do. So I thought I would bring it to the people and get more people involved, and this is, it almost legitimizes your action figure collection, because you can tell me, no, I take pictures of these toys, I don't just sit and play with them. So, but that's all I do, so it's okay. So we're going to divide this into two parts. The first is basic photography skills. So we're going to talk rule of thirds, how to make a good background, and keeping pictures in focus. And then we'll move on to sort of Instagram 101, and we're talking about things like hashtags and when to post and who to post to and different things like that, sort of to help you get out there, because it's, there's billions and billions of people on Instagram posting pictures. And so I want to kind of key you into the right people to get connected with. Because it's a really, if you can get plugged in and you can get a group of followers, you can turn it into it sounds really weird. But you can turn it into like a group of friends who kind of share the same passions as you, and you can plug into people that are like, oh yeah, that obscure 80s toy from the, oh yeah, I love that. Here's some pictures of my collection, and you get to meet these people, and you get to a base of friends that you never actually meet in real life, but there's some good people out there, and I had a really, really just terrible year, and Instagram was one of the things that I latched onto to kind of help me through it, and there was a lot of people that are like, hey, you're doing great, just keep up the good work, so I sort of found solace in that. So like I said, photographic basics, rule of thirds, background, and focus. And if this is like really too basic for you, I'm really sorry. But it gets a little more interesting as we move along, I hope. So, rule of thirds, the idea is the human brain doesn't like to see a symmetric picture. It likes it to be off, sort of on one side or the other. So, and if you have a phone, you can turn on this like grid so you know how to place your picture and make it really, really excellent. You want to hit these. You want to hit these 4 points here, and that's where you want your subject to be. And that's sort of where your eye is instantly drawn to on pictures. You don't want to picture your center here unless you're going for like something really, like that's what you really want, is it to be totally off and very centralized and very symmetric. But otherwise you want to try to avoid sort of the area, the center, and hit these 3 spots. If you forgot to take a picture or you're cropping it and you're like, oh, I wonder if I've hit the center. If you post it and you double click and it lights the picture, the heart will be right over the center, and then be like, oh man, Melontuck's gonna be mad, I messed up, and then but you can just delete it and then repost it. So again, you want to hit these sort of 4 areas. That's the key areas you want to hit. You can also, anywhere outside of that is also okay, but you kind of run into kind of falling off the edge of the page. Any questions so far? All right. So the next I want to talk about background. I found this picture online, and it's a really cool picture, but I wanted to zoom in even more on the background, because this is just a Lego set, and the guy set it up and took a picture, but then he went beyond and just set up you can just get a glossy photo and stick it on the back of your pictures, and you made it look like, oh hey, the picture continues on and gives you sort of a depth of field, and really just you can dive into the world of this picture. And that's also kind of my philosophy. I like pictures that tell a story, and I think the best pictures do tell a story and really just immerse you into that world. So again, we'll go in a little deeper so you can see that you really went all the way. Or you can go completely the opposite and get just no background at all, and just you can either build a light box, or which is what I did here, or you can even just set up just white piece of paper with some lights to get just a plain background, and that really brings, you can see, brings all the characters into the front, and nothing gets lost in the background. And then, move too fast. All right, so focus. So obviously, this picture here, you can see, put the emphasis on the predator, not on the alien. So he's in focus, the alien isn't, but also, it's just an idea to just take the 5 seconds and make sure your picture is in focus, because this turns into a personal pet peeve, where people will take a picture. I was like, that's a really cool picture, but it's just so blurry. I can't handle it. So just take a few seconds, auto select on your phone. Actually, with the iPhones, there's a neat feature where if you double tap on the subject, it'll lock on the focus onto that subject. And you have to do, if you're going really small, you have to do it a couple of times. But you can just lock onto that picture, and then if you want to move your phone around to get a better angle, it'll keep the picture, the subject in focus, while the rest of the background is out of focus. So you won't be constantly shifting and be like, oh, I missed that great shot. It'll stay in focus. Another trick is to just bring your toys everywhere. I bring them on vacation. It drives my wife nuts. My kids love it though, because they're like, man, I wish I had brought my Star Wars Legos. Like, well, I brought mine. You wanna, we can share. But I need these 3 right now. So I guess it drives them a little nuts too. But just bring them anywhere. I mean, if you're going to Disneyland, take some. I mean, Disney owns everything, so you can just bring all of your action figures. And then you're going to the beach. Bring Aquaman or Joker and Batman with their floaties. And it's just it adds that much more fun to what you're doing, because it should never be. I mean, it's a hobby. It should be fun. It should be exciting. Constantly thinking. I brought my box of toys that I went through and refilled as well. So, bring them everywhere. Take pictures everywhere. You'll get that question a lot, like, what are you doing? Are you taking pictures of toys? And then you tell them, yeah, I am, and this is what I do. And some people like, okay, and just move on, but other people, get a big smile out of it, and you've totally made their day. Fun story, I was at Reed Park at the zoo just shooting fun photos around, and apparently there's a photo group that comes through in the morning, and they're like, oh, taking pictures of toys, and they sat down and were taking pictures of the scenes that I had set up. So I was like, okay. So, it's something fun everyone can enjoy. Bring your toys everywhere, because you never know when inspiration will strike. You never know when you'll see something cool, or, if you're going somewhere different, you want that interesting background. So any questions on photography basics? All right, so we're going to move into Instagram basics. So we're going to kind of talk about so what to post. Obviously, things that you're interested in. Don't post something you have absolutely no idea about. I mean, unless it looks really cool. But because then you'll inevitably get that one internet troll that's like, oh, this person, they have these set of powers, you did it wrong, and nothing bums you out than that one nerdy guy that's like, I am smarter than you and I will prove it. So, be sure to avoid that and post things that you're interested in, about, and, also things that are timely. We'll get into more about that. And everyone loves funny things. I'm not a funny guy, so I can't give you advice on this is really funny, you should post this. But every once in a while, I'll come up with something that I get a chuckle out of. No one thinks it's funny. And then I'll post something that I just oh, this is a cool picture, and everyone's like, oh, that's hilarious. I was like, oh, I got left out of the joke. So, but going back to timely, I pulled, right now, everyone's talking about the Joker. I was super disappointed that I didn't see at least 10 Jokers out on the floor, but I just pulled 3 pictures of different people pulling from their Joker collection, and I got their handles on the top if you want to follow. This guy is really cool. He takes the old Kenner action figures and puts them in new modern up-to-date displays or reenacts scenes from the newer movies. So he's obviously posting Joker pictures. This guy also posting Joker pictures and posting pictures. He kid bashed his own Joker minifigures and just set the world ablaze with his reimaginings of the movie with Lego figures. So if you try to hit what's in sort of the zeitgeist of what's going on in the world, what's in the happening in pop culture. I mean, you can fall really far down the rabbit hole and there was a point where I was trying to set up all right, this month is only Star Wars, and then next month's only going to be whatever the next thing was, and just planned it out that way, and it just got to be too much, and it took over, so I had to take a step back. I was like, no, this is what I don't want to just focus on that one thing, I want to focus on everything that I find interesting. So funny picture. I just thought it was a cute idea, and then everyone's like, oh, this is great. Batman caught Aquaman on the fishing line. Yes. So how often to post? I try to do at least once a day. There was a while where I was doing 6, and it got to be like a lot. I also may have neglected work for a couple of days and just go and take photos. And then they got to be like, Max, where were you today? I was like, I was in the back just taking photographs. They didn't like that answer. So once a day, a nice clean shot that's really in the zeitgeist of what's going on or something you really want to share. That's what I try to do. We're going to get into who to follow or who to post with, but the best times to post are in the morning because, you post in the morning, then just when do you look at Instagram? Oh, I look at Instagram the first thing I do once I get settled at work is I pull it up and go through and be like, oh, this is what I missed. So conveniently, like 9 o'clock is when most people are checking Instagram. So if you post before then or post then you're sure to get your picture noticed. So this group, the top 4 are a group of toy community. Their Instagram page, and they just highlight people that are following them and pushing their hashtag, and they find the best picture of that day and they repost it, and then they're like, oh yeah, this is the new, this is the best picture today, like and subscribe. So these guys do post their picture 8 o'clock every night, they post it before 8. They're like 7 o'clock, and then at 8 they give you a hashtag within the picture that they just post. So let me back up. Okay. So Toy Pops 3 is a good example. They post pretty regularly, like 6, 7 o'clock. They'll post a picture, and it's their pop of the day, their picture of the day. And they say, all right, this is our picture of the day, and these are the rules of what you want to do. So you post a picture, and they give you a special hashtag, the hashtag of the day. And it's usually like TCB, and then whatever the picture is of. So it's a picture, like one of the examples was a picture of the Joker. So, Toy Crew Buddies, TCB _ last laugh, or the Joker, or whatever it is, and that's your hashtag. So you have to post at 8 o'clock, and then your picture with that hashtag. And then once you post your picture, you go back, you follow that hashtag, or you look through the hashtag, and everyone that's posted, you kind of, they ask you to like every picture. I feel that's too much for my artistic integrity, but if you don't have that, or you're, bear in mind, a lot of the pictures are really good, so it's not like you're hitting just a bunch of scuzzy pictures. But you go through and they ask you to like all the pictures, and then if you find something you really like, you follow that person, or you leave a comment saying like, oh, that was the coolest Joker picture I've ever seen, or like, oh, I used to have that toy when I was a kid. And then those comments lead to conversations, and that's how you build a rapport with someone across the country that's also collecting, mask toys from the 80s, or like they have the one Cobra Commander that you missed at the G.I. Joe Comic-Con or whatever, and they can, give you hot tips like, oh, hey, I just went into my Walgreens and they got the newest mini-mates in, you should check out yours, see if they're in, or, So you can, in that way, you build this community with these guys and gals around the web, and it's a real, because Tucson's very small, and there's not a lot of like toy collectors around, and if they are, they might not be into exactly what you're interested in. I know every exterminator that comes to the house always comments on like, oh, you got a huge shelf of toys, and so then we talk about action figures, and they never collect the same things that I do. They're always doing something else, but we always have that rapport of like, oh yeah, our wives hate this collection, but this is totally cool. So we nerd out for 10 minutes, but it's that, but on a larger scale. So in that respect, it's really a rewarding experience, and it's fun to meet people, even if it's virtually, that are as passionate as you about something. So I recommend following these guys. Toy Pops and Toy Poison and Toy Picasso, they post every day. The Toy Syndicate, they do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, but if you can hit all 4 of those, then you've exposed yourself to, like thousands of people are going to look at your picture that might not otherwise have done it. And then Epic Toy Art, all 5 of these guys do a really good job of cycling through, and if they see someone that has a really good picture that's a newer member, they bring it up and feature it, as it were. So that's always really nice. Epic Toy Art, they just kind of go through on a daily basis and post like, hey, here's some 5 of our favorite pictures from today. And then on all of their summaries of their pages, they give you more information about like, hey, this is how you post and when to post. And so if you just go along and find them, then you can, if you completely forget what I just said because it made no sense, they'll explain it better with actual words. So I caught up on a couple times our hashtags. That's, the number sign is a hashtag. In case you guys didn't know, it took me a while to figure that one out. And Instagram allows you to post, I believe it's up to 15 hashtags in your picture. Most blogs say only do 5. I say that's nuts. Do all 15. If they allow you to post more, do it. It doesn't matter. Just go nuts. Because each hashtag is essentially a portal for someone to jump on and follow you. So, you post your picture. I post Lego photography, so I'll post like our first example with Tony Stark Crash. Hashtag Lego, hashtag Avengers because the movie had just come out. Hashtag Endgame. Whatever you can think of, and then once you get stuck with pictures that are actually relevant to, hashtags that are actually relevant to your pictures, I go on to Google and be like, hey, what are the best Lego hashtags? And they list, like, these are the ones that are trending right now. And so I'll just cut and paste them into my feed. And that way, whether you're a Lego fan or Lego Instagram, you find, your group. And I've gone so far as to figure out that, like, well, this is in English. What about all the guys in the Ukraine that are taking Lego pictures? So I went through, hashtag Lego, I did a deep dive and found people that their names were in Cyrillic, and I was like, that's too many consonants, I'm going to definitely follow you. And, I just cut and pasted their hashtags, and so then I was able to start getting like, hey, I can hit those Ukrainians and bring them into the fold of the Melon Tug. So, go, whatever you need to do just to get it out there, go for it, because that's how you meet people. That's how you get your art out there. That's how you gather a following. Is through hashtags. So Google knows all. So just ask it. Any questions about hashtags? About Instagram? Because that was the end of my slideshow. I guess I ran really short. Team Rocket's here. Okay. Yes.
Talk about your.
Oh yeah, my setup. So as I said, I've been on Instagram for about 5 years. For those first 4, I was just using my iPhone for everything. I found it versatile. It was easy because I always had it with me. And then I was carrying, my creative toys as well. So wherever I would go, and I would see something like, "Ooh, that's a really cool background. Would make a neat setup." Just take a picture. I think all smartphones are at the point where when you get to the DSR, then they're sort of the step beyond. But when I grew up, my parents had those, point and shoot photo cameras, and it took me a couple of years, but I finally convinced my dad he does not need those cameras anymore. This is better. And it literally took just be like, this has 9 pixels. your phone has 8, just take this. So, this is it's weird to think, but this is a better camera than the point and shoot. And there are some neat, real cool photo apps that you can do. I'm super cheap because I spend all my money on Legos, so I don't buy a lot of apps, and I use a lot of the free apps, and they work really good. Instagram works great just to edit the photos. I invested in some LED lights. This one switches on. I don't want to blind anybody here, but I put it on a tripod so you can get these really cool shots. Because sometimes it's fun just to play around with the lighting of the picture and just to see where it takes you. So now I am shooting with a Nikon. It's a D3500. I got 2 lenses on here. This is the regular lens. I did get a micro lens just because I'm shooting such small little Legos. I was like, I really want to get in close with them, and that's how I did this guy here. Let's go back to the. So that's how I was able to get so close on Tony, especially because he had such detail on him, which is really cool for Lego to be making these detailed, intricate toys. And that's usually my setup. That's usually what I do. Maybe next year we'll do tutorial light boxes if you guys are like, yeah, let's do that. Because what I did is just went on YouTube and typed how to make a light box, and 800 things came up, and I did the first 10. I was like, okay, now I kind of know what to do. So with that kind of thing as well, sometimes it's a matter of typing in how to do it with other people that you're following. If you really like their stuff, just reach out to them and be like, hey, how did you set up that shot? A lot of people have been, what I was doing is Instagram allows you to do a story feature, and you post, in addition to the picture you post, you can post a 10-second clip. So what I've been doing is take the shot, post the shot, and the next day post the story of, hey, this is how I did it, and sort of a 10-second video of just moving around, showing how I set up the shot, where the lights are situated, and all that stuff. And so that's been a lot of fun. A lot of people have just been including it in their picture, and then you swipe, and then they show you just the setup. And everyone, not everyone, but everyone else, a lot of people are really nice, and they're like open to, hey, I got a question, what is that toy? They loved that one. Or, how did you do that setup? And they're happy to sort of show you that. And, everyone loves to explain their craft. So, people generally, especially with toy photography, people are really nice and easygoing and happy to share. I know, obviously I'm clearly involved in the Lego community. There are a lot of really nice people and are happy to share, like, oh, hey, this is how I set up this picture, or this is how they're really stingy about giving away how they built it. They're like, no, I spent 20 hours building this setup. I'm not going to, give you an instruction manual, but they're usually good about like giving you detailed pictures, or if they use a really crazy building technique, they're like, oh yeah, this is how I did it. And yeah, so it's toy photography. It's a lot of fun. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me after the panel, because I'm in this room for, I guess, another half hour. Or you can find me online again on the Melon Tuck. That's it. You guys have any questions? Enjoy your stay at Comic-Con. Yeah.
I was going to say, what's the first setup that you took a photo of? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. I went immediately to Legos and I had set up 4 spacemen with electric guitars. Just sitting there rocking out. I was like, yeah, these are the Space Beatles. And I developed this whole story in my mind, and then posted this picture only to realize, like, oh, you look at it, 5 years later, and it's just 4 Lego guys with guitars. Like, oh, okay. So I actually went back and kind of found some of my old pictures and redid them sort of as I wanted them to. So Lego made Beatles, the actual, the Fab Four. So I took their heads and put them in the spacesuits and redid the whole thing. So I was like, yeah, this is amazing. This is what I wanted.
What is the favorite background that you've shot?
At it's either the Reed Park Zoo in the South America area, where I think they renamed it the Jungle. They have really nice bamboo. I like there. Also at the Tucson Mall, up on the top of where REI is, they have a waterfall. That's also really nice. But they turn that off sometimes. It's only seasonal. So, but if you scroll through, a lot of the times you can figure out like, oh, yeah, I've been there. I know where this is. Someone's hanging out at the mall again. Oh, yeah. Great. Is there any other questions? He's thinking. Yeah.
Where's your best place to find random figures?
You mean besides the Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Before and after con season.
Usually at Toys Inc. They have a nice setup, but usually I just like to wait because I know that they're gonna get the really good fake minifigures at the cons. So, or she's actually, Toys Inc.'s been doing a cool thing where they bring in sort of the vendors from the cons to her store every once in a while. So, and they're Tony from Old Level has a good selection. He comes every all the time. So, yeah. Other than that, there's the Mercantile on Speedway in Columbus. In one of the shops, they have a bunch of figures. But there, I'm like, if I wait a couple months, I can get them cheaper.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What free apps do you use to edit with?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, let's see. So, my favorite one is called PixMix. There's a free version of it, which works really well. It allows you to do take pictures and then edit them out so it looks like they're flying or floating in air. Let me here we go. So you can edit it. This is Rogue. Obviously, I didn't throw it in the air and take a picture. So you take essentially two pictures, one with Rogue, and you have a little piece here that you're holding onto to make her look like she's flying, and then the other picture is without her, and then you take PixMix and you use it just to edit out this area here. And since you have that plain background, you essentially layer the two photos. And you just edit out the background, so makes it look like she's flying through space. And then the light effect is an app called Lens FX, and that one has cool like lens flares. And when Star Trek came out, I was like, oh, copy J.J. Abrams, and that had a lot of lens flares. And then I realized that I, just like JJ, put up too many lens flares. But you can see. I did a lot with the Lego spaceships because those look really cool. They were just floating in the air. So you can also set up a shot where one figure's standing and then the other one's flying, and then again you just take two pictures, one with just your Space Woman, the other one with Marceline and Space Woman, and then when you layer them across, you just edit out the back.
What's it called again?
PixMix. Oh, I can't connect my phone to the thing. I can't do this though. So it's this app right here. And it's a photo editing tool. I think that one, there's a free version, but I found that I used it enough where it was worth, I think, the $1 or $2 that it costs. So I know I said I don't pay for apps. That one I actually paid for because it was really worth it. Oh. Actually, if we bring this one again, this one over here, Alien Skies, that one is with lens effects. They're made by the same company. They also have some lens flares that you can throw on there. You can also do fun backgrounds with like planets and space and stuff. So that's also pretty cool if you want to get build that background. That's a good app for it.
What was that one? Lens?
Alien Sky and Lens Effects. Those are two, and they're also fun because you get bored, you can just take a picture. I was doing ones where people would take their vacation pictures, and then I would add in dinosaurs and aliens just flying in the background, and send it back and be like, "This is a weird shot, man. Why didn't you tell us about the alien invasion?" They did not find this amusing as I did, but. So this is page 2 of my phone. So here's lens effects right here. And I think with lens effects and Alien Skies, it's like they give you can add up to 5 layers of things, and if you want more, you have to buy them. And if you want some of their other specialty stuff, those you have to pay extra for. But I found that the basic stuff that they offer is really good. Also, this one, Quick Shot, is really cool. It's also free. And that one, they'll take this shot. We could send it through Quick Shot, and they would fill in the white background with different skies, like pre-rendered, really nice sunsets or just cloudy skies. So it's like, oh, that again fills in that background, makes the picture, stand out, tell a different story. And you can edit how much of it you want, and this and that. You can also do cool different other effects like sparks or glitter, if you would like. This one I fell really hard into the rabbit hole on that one for a while, and I think here we got 2 examples. So here we got one. There's actually one where it's just the background. So this is just the picture. This is just the photo that I took. And then here, send it through the app. And then we made it. So here's the original picture, and then here is with the background. So, it turns, still a cool picture, ninja girl fighting all the ninjas, but kind of really adds something to it and gives it a little more, zing. And so with this one as well, I set up this one I also took the video of. Send that one. It's just 10 the right one? Yeah, here we go. So this is a 10-second clip of how I set it up, because it looks like she's standing on the spearhead, but in reality, it's just Lego trickery. She's, I pulled out a peg, and she can just, fly off of that. But I got the camera positioned in such a way where you wouldn't normally see that, which is kind of the fun thing with Legos. You can build a background and then have it coming out and have the figures essentially flying off. Also, with some of the 6-inch figures and 3 3/4 inch, they'll sell you the stand with it as well. And if you can bend it in such a way, you can do, and with your camera in such a way, you can make it so it's not even there. Or since I'm lazy, I'll just send it through PixMix and then just edit it out. So it's like, oh no, Captain America's clearly just flying through the air with a shield. There's no flight stand on that. You guys need to see those apps again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Means we're all downloading them now.
All right, we're in? Okay.
First one was, how do you spell PixMix?
And it's PICMIX.
It looks like this.
Yeah.
At the very bottom, I just finished downloading.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and then if you get either Alien Sky over here or Lens FX, you'll see they have links to one another. And in some cases, you can open it in Alien Sky and then bring it over to Lens FX. Because Alien Sky, as the name sounds, has more like skies of aliens, so it has more like planets and stars and comets and things like that. Whereas Lens FX has the dinosaurs you can throw in the background or the helicopters and the tanks.
Alien Sky costs money.
No way, does it?
Yeah.
There's not a free version?
$5.
What? Oh, I led you astray. There's not a free version?
Or they're hiding it really well.
Ah, that's what it is. Yeah, what they want you to do is buy the bundle of all of them.
Right.
Oh, see, I already have it. I can't look at it anymore.
What do you use for the solid backgrounds? Just paper?
Well, I built a light box, but what you can do is just, large sheets of white paper, just kind of curve them as you set them up. And yeah, that works just as well. And again, you can always go online and just go to YouTube and type in white background setup, or if you find someone online and you like what they're doing, you're like, hey, how did you get that background? And they'll, if they're nice, hopefully they'll show you around what they kind of did. But I know, some of the YouTubers that review toys, at first I was like, oh, this is really professional. They must have a light box as well. And, one time the camera slipped a little and it's like, oh no, it's just 8 or 11 by 12 piece of paper. They just kind of curved off the back and I was, literally just 2 reading lamps set up. I was like, oh man, you just ruined my dream. This is just some kid in the basement. What is going on here? They don't let anybody on YouTube these days.
Where'd you find the LED light?
This one, Tempe Camera up in Phoenix, was going through there, and they had just gotten this one, Amazon. But I also found some at Tempe Camera, or at the camera stores, and maybe at Jones they'll have some. But at the other camera stores, they really focus on just cameras, not on lights, which I was kind of bummed about. But yeah, Amazon. And I think this guy was only $5, and the stand I found at Walgreens, which was also only $5. So yeah. They're kicking us out.
You got the signal?
Right.
I'm just gonna wipe it right back.
Yeah, no. All right. Any other questions? You came in late. Bet you have all the questions.
No, you filled it in.
Okay, all right.
You ever print out any of your?
I did. The Loft did a Bill Murray Fest a couple years ago, and they were looking for art submissions. I was like, oh, I got a Bill Murray Lego. So I recreated some fun Ghostbuster scenes and printed them out and set them up there. That's as far as I've gotten. But people, I mean, I've seen other people that have gone, they've set up their own store where you can just print out the actual picture or get it printed on mugs or anything like that. It's like, oh, wow. So, I mean, there are ways to monetize these things, apparently. I just haven't figured that out. Or I've always decided, like, oh, no one wants my Lego figures on a mug. That sounds weird.
Great job on the turtles one.
Oh, thank you. Yep, at Tucson Mall.
There's one called, let's see, it's called Wallpapers for Space, Outer Space 3D Live, Space Wallpapers, Galaxy Light, Quick Shot that's free.
Give me.
I don't know how good any of these are.
No, I don't know. Sorry. I kind of found the ones I found, 2 years ago, and I've just been using those.
Yeah.
So there may be new or better ones. I just haven't. Once you find something and it works, I haven't really tinkered with anything else.
And play around.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've also found a lot of people just, run their pictures into Adobe and do really cool stuff. And then I feel bad asking, like, hey, how'd you do that? Where'd you get that lightsaber effect? Is that an app? No, I sat on my computer for 20 minutes and did it. I'm like, oh, okay. I feel bad. I'm not going to do that.
It's amazing what you can do with 400 hours of work.
Exactly. Okay. 5 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you for listening to the Creative Play and Podcast Network. And feel free to enjoy our other shows, such as D&D Journey of the 5th Edition and Scion Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion hero to Ragnarok story. Thank you for listening.
Hello, this is Eric.
And Wendy Strock with Stone Valley Hobby and Games.
We sell board games, card games, role-playing games, and supplies. We have thousands of Magic the Gathering cards available, carry Kickstarter products, and work with veteran-owned small businesses to bring you our own line of products.
We are a small business retailer, but we offer competitive prices, a loyalty system, and free shipping on orders over $100.
As a military veteran myself, I'm a strong supporter of our armed forces, their families, and contractors out there doing the hard job. So any order from an AA, AE, or EP address will be shipped absolutely free.
Remember, StoneValleyGames.com, where we take your leisure seriously.